Hare Krishna. Om Agyanati Mirandasya Gnam Gnashalakya Chakshurumilitamina Tasmai Shigurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitmena Bhutale Seurapakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shiguru Shuta Padakamalam Shigurun Vishnivam Shcha Shirupam Sagarajtam Sagna Ragunatam Vitamtam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sakhitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shirada Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Shivishakam Vitam Shcha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishapanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Now I will again try to sing the Pranam mantra of His Divine Grace Bhaichara Vrinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, of His Diksha Guru, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura Prabhupada, the Panchatattva mantra, which glorifies Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his eternal associates, Gaura Lila. Then, maybe the song that a small song that I wrote about Sri Ramanujaacarya. Yesterday was his appearance day. And also Hare Krishna Maha mantra, and then maybe I will try to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the translation in English from year 1975 of His Divine Grace by Vrinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Vaskatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sri-bhasya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now this is a song about Ramanujaacarya. He had appearance day yesterday, and it is a very short song. Qualified non-dualism, his doctrine Visistavaita, enlightens from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya. The great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. The great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya, qualified non-dualism. His doctrine Visistavaita enlightens us from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya. The great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya, the great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya, qualified non-dualism. His doctrine Visistavaita, qualified non-dualism. His doctrine Visistavaita enlightens us from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya enlightens us from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya. The great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya, the great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya, qualified non-dualism. His doctrine Visistavaita, qualified non-dualism. His doctrine Visistavaita enlightens us from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya enlightens us from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya. The great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya, the great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Qualified non-dualism, his doctrine Visistavaita, qualified non-dualism, his doctrine Visistavaita enlightens us from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya enlightens us from his Vedanta commentary Sri-bhasya, the great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya, the great sage Ramanujaacarya gave us a present. Sri Sampradaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. So, now I will read about him a little bit. Okay. I will read about this sage just a moment. So Shri Ramanujacharya, he was sorry, he was born in 1017. He spent 8 of his 120 years at Sri Rangam. For 20 years, he was the chief priest of the temple. Ramanuja is the main acharya or spiritual teacher in the line of teachers and disciples known as the Sri Sampradaya. His presentation of Krishna consciousness is known as Visistavaita, qualified non-dualism. Staunch proponent of the philosophy of personalism, he taught that although the Supreme Lord and the individual souls are qualitatively one, there is still a difference between them, for the Lord is infinite and the living entities are infinitesimal. Ramanuja traveled extensively throughout India teaching personalism and debating proponents of monistic philosophy. His commentary on the Vedanta Sutra is known as Sri-bhasya. Ramanuja founded 74 centers of Sri Vaishnavism and initiated 700 sannyasis. 12,000 brahmacharis, thousands of householders, including kings and wealthy landowners, and 300 Keti Amanis women who took vows of renunciation. Here are some of Sri Ramanuja's instructions as he was about to leave this world. Worship all Vaishnavas as you worship your Guru. Have faith in the previous acharyas. Study scriptures that describe the glories of the Supreme Lord. Always endeavor for purity. Take shelter of the Lord and have faith in the Lord alone. If you follow these instructions, you will never be separated from me. Why should one grieve over the disappearance of the temporary body? So this is maybe from Bhagavad Gita, is that? I don't know. Because the body of a great devotee is considered spiritual, Ramanuja's followers preserved his body after he passed away. Over the years, the priests of Sri Rangam have regularly applied a special preservative, and after more than 80, 850 years, Ramanuja's body has not decayed. It is worshipped in a temple within the Sri Rangam compound. Sri Ramanuja sits in the lotus position, his right hand extended slightly forward, bestowing benedictions. And here it is written about Lord Chaitanya's visit to Sri Rangam. Lord Krishna appeared 500 years ago in West Bengal as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who accepted the mood of a devotee of Krishna after taking sannyas. The renounced order of life Lord Chaitanya traveled throughout India for 6 years, visiting holy places and spreading the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. During that period, the longest time he spent in one place was at Sri Rangam. Lord Chaitanya observed the practice. Yes, okay, so he was there. Okay, he was in Sri Rangam. Yes, now I will continue to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. I think the last verse was Adilila 396, where the verse which I read at last. Yes, the next one, 397, Adilila 397. Oh, I think I have read this also. Just don't let's see. Okay, the 397 I also have read, and now 398. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 398. Читание Чаритамрита в Шрила Кришнадас Кавираж Госвами. The translation in English from His Divine Grace by Charnaravrinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Adi Lila 398.
Lokagati deki acharya karuna hridaya Lokagati deki acharya karuna hridaya vichara karana Lokera kaiche hitaya vichara kare Lokera kaiche hitaya.
Translation. Seeing the activities of the world, the Acharya felt, Advaita Acharya, the Acharya felt compassion and began to ponder how he could act for the people's benefit. Oh, I think I have read this also. Oh my god. Yes, I think I have read this. Okay, the next verse, Adirilu 399. Yes. So the next one is Adirilu 399.
Apane Shri Krishna Yadu Karina Avatara Apane Hachari Bhakti Karina Prachara.
Translation. Advaita Acharya thought, if Sri Krishna appears as an incarnation, he himself could preach devotion by his personal example. The next one, Adilil 300.
Nama Vino Kari Kare Dharma Nahiyara Kari Kare Kaiche Hava Krishna Avatara.
Translation. In this age of Kali, there is no religion other than the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. But how in this age will the Lord appear as an incarnation? So the Advaita Acharya, he's continuing to think about the Lord and his appearance. Adril 301. Adril 101.
Shudabhave Kariba Krishna Radhana Nirantara Sadinya Kariba Nivadana.
Translation. I shall worship Krishna in a purified state of mind. I shall constantly petition him in humbleness. Petition. Okay, the next one. Oh yes, there's a purport. Okay. The next one, Adilila 3, 102.
Aniya Krishnere Karam Kirtana Jankara Tabesya Advaita Namasavala Mara.
Translation. My name Advaita will be fitting if I am able to induce Krishna to inaugurate the movement of the chanting of the holy name. Purport of His Divine Grace by Charnaravrinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada to the verse Adilila 3, 102. The non-dualist Mayavadi philosopher who falsely believes that he is non-different from the Lord is unable to call him like Advaita Prabhu. Advaita Prabhu is non-different from the Lord, yet in his relationship with the Lord he does not merge in him, but eternally renders service unto the Lord as a plenary portion. This is inconceivable for Mayavadis because they think in terms of mundane sense perception and therefore think that non-dualism necessitates what the word necessitates losing one's separate identity. It is clear from this verse, however, that Advaita Prabhu, although retaining his separate identity, is no different from the Lord. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the philosophy of inconceivable simultaneous oneness with the Lord and difference from the Lord. Conceivable dualism and monism are conceptions of the imperfect senses which are unable to reach transcendence because the transcendence is beyond the conception of limited potency. The actions of Sri Advaita Prabhu, however, give tangible proof of inconceivable non-dualism. One who therefore surrenders unto Sri Advaita Prabhu, to Sri Advaita Prabhu, can easily follow the philosophy of inconceivable simultaneous dualism and monism. Okay. Um, we see the purpose of His Divine Grace Abhaichar Naravrinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. They are always very deep, sometimes not easy to be understood because because we can try to understand um, His Divine Grace by Charnaravrinda Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, but not always we are able to understand him. He's just a very um, high developed personality, a great Vaishnava, and also in his spiritual body uh, in Vraja Lila, he's a gopi, he's a manjari. Um, so we see how it was explained here in this purport that one is at the same time one with the Lord and separate from the Lord. Just this is happening at the same time. And it is, of course, not easy to be understood from us because we cannot compare it with something that um, we cannot compare it with something else which we understand. Um, but This is actually our reality. For example, also in verse 5 of Shri Shikshastaka of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Sri Shikshastaka spoken in the 16th century from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is also said that the devotee wants to be just like a small particle. It is said in verse 5 of Shri Shikshastaka, Ainanatuja Kinkaram Patitamam Visham Bhavam Buddho, Крипая тава пада панкаджа садури садышам вичинтая. Ainanatuja Kinkaram Patitamam Visham Bhavam Buddho, Крипая тава пада панкаджа садури садышам вичинтaya. O son of Maharajananda, O my lord, somehow I am in this condition now. I am in this terrible condition now. But please, O Lord, be merciful to me, and please consider me as a particle of dust or a particle of sand, affixed at your lotus feet, and in this way purchase me as your eternal servant. So we see how also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastakam is saying that the pure devotee actually wants to be just a particle affixed at the lotus feet of the Lord. Because a pure devotee does not want to merge with the Lord, but the pure devotee wants to serve the Lord. Okay, and now I will count on and already.
Namaste Narasihaya Praladala Daine Hiranyakashi Puraksha Shilatangana Kala
Itan Rishiva
Paraton Rishiha Yato yato yamitatam rishiha rishiha hridaya rishiha rishiha madi sharanya prabhaya
Namaste
Narasimhaya Praladala Dadaina Hiranya Kashipuraksha Shiradanka Nakure
Itan Rishiva
Paraton Rishiva Yato yato yamidata Nrisimha, Nrisimha Mare Sharanya Prabhude.
Tava kara kamalavare
Nakama Pute Shrinka
Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita
Narari Rupa Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Jai Jagadisha Hare
Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare
Shri Nishimha Janri Shimha Jaya Janri Shimha Dev Prahladesh Jaya Bhakta Mukha Padma Bringa Shri Nishimha Janri Shimha Jaya Janri Shimha Dev Prahladesh Jaya Bhakta Mukha Padma Bringa Shri Nishimha Janri Shimha Jaya Janri Shimha Dev Prahladesh Jaya Bhakta Mukha Padma Bringa Shri Simha Chandri Simha Jaya Chandri Simha Dev Prahladesh Jaya Bhakta Mukha Padma Bringa.
Jaya Nrisimhade Jaya Nrisimhade Jaya Nrisimhade Jaya Nrisimhade Jaya Lakshmi Nrisimha Lakshmi Nrisimha Lakshmi Nrisimha Jaya Lakshmi Nrisimha Jaya Prahlad Nrisimha Prahlad Nrisimha, Prahlad Nrisimha, Jaya Prahlad Nrisimha, Prahlad Nrisimha, Prahlad Nrisimha, Prahlad Nrisimha, Jaya Prahlad Nrisimha, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jai Gaurnitai, Jai Gaurnitai, Jai Gaurnitai, Jaya Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Jaya Jai Gaurnitai, Jai Gaurnitai, Jai Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Jaya Gaurnitai, 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 Jaya Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Jaya Gaurnitai, 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 Jaya Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Gopinath, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radha, Jaya Radha Madhav, Radha Gopinath, Radha Gokulananda, Shri Radha. Jai Guru Dev, Jai Guru Dev, Jai Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Dev, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Thanks so much for your attention. As you all know, I'm not qualified on such topics like Vedic literature. When I try to say something, I'm not trying to instruct anybody. I'm just only trying to understand these topics, Vedic literature, and comments on Vedic literature. If so, of course, one have to try to understand the Vedic literature and the comments on Vedic literature and the Vedic poetry and the comments on Vedic poetry. One have to try to understand these topics under the guidance of teachers, under the guidance of Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus. All of you who are Vaishnavas in Raganuga Bhakti, all of you who are Vaishnavas in Rupanuga Bhakti, you are all my gurus. I pay obeisances to you. Dandavat Pranam. Vanchakalpatarupascha kripasnubhya patitinam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you so much for your attention. Hare Krishna.